My wife framed me for cheating, then tried to ruin my life when I fought back. I don't know how to start this, but I guess I'll just say it. My wife accused me of cheating. I didn't. Not once. Not ever. But she believed I did, and that belief almost destroyed my life. We've been married for 7 years. Together for 10. I met Sarah when we were both broke students in grad school. I used to joke that she was the smarter one and I was the funnier one. She always knew how to plan, how to structure her life like a blueprint. I was the guy who followed my gut and made things work out. We were opposites, but it worked. We worked, or at least I thought we did. Things didn't start falling apart overnight. They eroded, slowly, quietly. We both got busy. Sarah landed a high-pressure consulting job that had her traveling 3 times a month. I built a freelance design business from home. The flexibility meant I could do the laundry, walk our dog, cook dinner, all while slowly losing track of us. I noticed the distance first, the quiet sighs, the way she looked at her phone a little too long at dinner, the sudden, "I'm tired," when I tried to cuddle. I asked her if something was wrong. She said no. I believed her, until the night she came home from a trip and just exploded. No hello, no hug, just, "How long has it been going on?" I had no idea what she meant. She shoved a screenshot into my face, an Instagram story, reposted from some account I didn't follow. It showed me sitting in a cafe with a woman, laughing, smiling, our heads close. Except, that woman was my client. A new client I'd met in person to discuss a rebranding project. It was a public meeting at a coffee shop down the street. I didn't even know a picture had been taken. Apparently, her intern posted it and tagged me. Sarah had seen it and spiraled. I tried to explain, calmly, rationally, but she wasn't listening. "You've been distant for months," she said. "You stay up late. You've changed your passwords. You don't even look at me the same anymore." The passwords were changed after a client had their account hacked. The late nights were me hustling for better contracts so I could surprise her with a weekend getaway. The way I looked at her, I didn't even know what that meant anymore. She didn't believe me. She cried, screamed, said she'd known something was off, and now it all made sense. That night, she slept in the guest room. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. And just like that, everything I'd built, the house, the relationship, the foundation of trust, felt like it had caved in. I kept trying. For weeks. I showed her emails, calendar invites, screenshots of conversations with that client, strictly professional. I even asked the woman to vouch for me. She did, and was furious she got dragged into it. None of it mattered. Sarah's mind was made up. She said trust was like glass. Once it cracked, it was never the same. I wasn't angry at her. I was devastated. Because the truth? I think someone got to her. I started finding strange things. A burner phone in her luggage. Late-night messages from someone named M. A sudden shift in how her closest friend wouldn't look me in the eye when we met. A private investigator's business card buried in a drawer, not hired by me, but on me. I didn't know what was happening, but I had a sinking feeling I hadn't been the one lying all along. I was the one being lied about. Update. I thought things couldn't get worse after she left. I was wrong. It's been about a month since Sarah walked out after accusing me of cheating. A month of silence. No texts. No calls. Just cold detachment from the person I once thought would hold my hand through anything. I couldn't let it go. Something about her reaction, it wasn't just hurt. It was rehearsed. Mechanical. Like she was waiting for a reason. So I started digging. I went through old messages. Our shared accounts. Travel receipts. Socials. I wasn't trying to catch her doing anything. I was trying to prove I was clean. And then I found him. M. The name I'd seen in that random text. It turned out to be Mark, her ex. The one she told me she hadn't spoken to in years. The one she claimed was a toxic phase of her early 20s. I found his name on a hotel receipt under her credit card. 2 nights. Booked during a client trip last fall. It didn't make sense at first. Why would she throw away everything we had for him? I called her best friend, Jenna, who had been ghosting me too. She picked up after 3 tries and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't lie anymore." Turns out, Sarah and Mark had been seeing each other on and off for almost a year. He came back into her life after his divorce and played the "I'm a better man now" card. She resisted at first. Then one night, she and Jenna got drunk, he texted, and it started. I asked Jenna, "Why not just tell me? Why accuse me?" Her voice cracked when she said, "Because if you cheated first, then she wasn't the bad guy. I sat on the floor of my living room for an hour, phone still in my hand, just empty. She'd been waiting for a way out, a narrative. And when that client photo showed up, it gave her exactly what she needed. A scapegoat, a clean break, sympathy from friends, a reason to destroy me without facing herself. And it didn't stop there. Last week, I got a notice from my freelance platform. Someone had filed a complaint saying I plagiarized branding materials. Completely false. I have timestamps, raw files, emails. But the damage was already done. My account was suspended for 5 days while they investigated. I lost 2 major clients. Guess who filed it? Not Mark. Not a stranger. Sarah. She used a throwaway email and stupidly used the same phrasing she always uses when giving feedback on my work. Visually inconsistent with your style, a phrase only she has ever said to me. She's trying to wreck me. Not just emotionally. Professionally. I don't know if it's guilt, manipulation, or some twisted attempt to erase me from the life we built. But I've had enough. I've spoken to a lawyer. I've secured all my accounts. Changed passwords. Backed up everything. I'm filing for divorce. She framed me. Lied to everyone. Weaponized an accusation to cover her own betrayal. Then tried to sabotage my career when I didn't just crumble. And the worst part? A part of me still misses the version of her that used to fall asleep on my chest during thunderstorms. But that person's gone. Or maybe she was never real to begin with. I don't know what the next chapter looks like. But it's going to be mine. No more lies. No more covering for her. No more being the villain in someone else's script. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since my last post. 2 weeks since I found out my wife, soon-to-be ex, cheated on me with her ex, Mark, then framed me for infidelity to justify it. I should have just walked away, filed the divorce, closed the chapter. But I couldn't. Something in me needed to know the full truth. So I did what I never thought I'd do. I went full investigative mode. First, I hired a digital forensics consultant. I know, sounds intense, but after that fake complaint nearly nuked my business, I needed to make sure my devices weren't compromised. Guess what? My personal laptop had remote access software installed on it. She installed it. Back when her job had her traveling, she'd borrow my laptop to log into her work email when her VPN was acting up. I didn't think twice. We were married. But the forensics guy found traces of a program buried deep in the background. She'd been watching my screen remotely, reading my DMs, my client chats, my banking info, everything. I felt sick. Then came the emails. I accessed her old cloud backup, still linked on our shared home computer. I hadn't touched it in months, but it was there. I found a folder, hidden, labeled receipts. It wasn't about me. It was a strategy folder. Screenshots of my social media, notes about who I interacted with, even draft texts she planned to send to our mutual friends, painting me as a distant, cold husband. She was building a case, not because I cheated, because she knew she had, and she was preparing for when the guilt boiled over and she'd need to rewrite the story. Mark wasn't just a fling. He was in on it. There were messages between them, saved in the cloud. One, dated 5 weeks before she accused me, said, "I just wish he'd give me a reason. I can't keep lying like this. He's not even doing anything wrong." And Mark responded, "Then make him the bad guy. Nobody will question it." I stared at that message for an hour. They planned it. They weaponized trust. They orchestrated my downfall like it was a game. And I still don't know how far it went. I reached out to some of our mutual friends, cautiously. One of them, Sam, admitted Sarah had told her months ago that I was becoming emotionally distant and maybe seeing someone. I wasn't. But she planted that seed early. She's been engineering this narrative from the shadows for almost a year. I've now handed over everything to my attorney. The remote access logs, the messages, the timeline. He says this could shift the divorce case dramatically, possibly even open the door to civil charges. Maybe more. But here's the part one didn't expect. She knows I know. 2 days ago, I got a text. No greeting. Just, "I hope you're happy digging through my past like a psycho. This is why I left." No apology. No denial. Just gaslighting, like always. But here's the thing. I'm not angry anymore. I'm focused. I'm awake. And for the first time in months, I'm not doubting myself. She played dirty. She dragged me through the mud. But I've got truth on my side now. And I'm not just fighting to win the case. I'm fighting to take my life back. More soon. Update 3. This isn't the kind of story you expect to live through. I feel like I'm watching my own life unravel through a cracked lens. But here I am, Typing this at 2 a.m., hands still shaking. Things escalated. Hard. After the last update, I handed everything over to my lawyer. The digital forensics report, the cloud backups, the messages between Sarah and Mark plotting my downfall. The whole sordid playbook. My lawyer sent a formal notice to Sarah's attorney. We were not only pursuing full divorce proceedings, but also considering civil legal action for intentional emotional harm, defamation, and malicious interference in business contracts. Within 24 hours, I got a call from her. I didn't answer. Then texts started flooding in. You can't do this to me. You're blowing things out of proportion. I didn't mean for it to get this far. If you go public, I'll make sure your name is poison in this industry. That last one, that was the last straw. She wasn't scared because she'd hurt me. She was scared because she was finally exposed. She had built this persona of the wronged wife, to her friends, to our families, to people in my field. She played the victim perfectly. And now I had the receipts. I ignored the messages. I stayed silent. Let my lawyer handle it. Then yesterday, I came home to find my apartment broken into. Nothing was stolen. Nothing valuable touched. But my office had been ransacked. Files on the floor. External hard drives unplugged and thrown around. My backup SSD gone. The police came. Took fingerprints. I showed them the texts. They're opening an investigation. And yes, she has a restraining order request coming next. I knew she was spiraling. But this was desperation. My neighbor's Ring camera caught a blurry figure entering the building using a copied fob. Hoodie. Gloves. But the police think it matches Sarah's build. And guess who had access to my spare key fob? When I confronted her through my lawyer, her reply wasn't denial. It was this. You're not innocent either. Remember that. Classic deflection. Classic Sarah. But now she's cornered. And cornered people do dangerous things. I've hired private security. Not a full detail, just someone to stay close and watch my place while I work remotely. I've moved anything important offsite. Cloud backups, encrypted. Bank accounts locked. But the worst part? Mark showed up at my co-working space today. Just stood across the street. Watching. I don't know if it was intimidation or just a pathetic attempt to scare me, but it worked. I'm documenting everything. Police have the footage. My lawyer is livid. At this point, it's not just a divorce. It's a war. She tried to dismantle my life in secret. Now that she's being exposed, she's clawing at the wreckage, trying to take me down with her. But I've come too far. I will not be dragged back into her twisted little world. I won't be her scapegoat. And I sure as hell won't be her victim again. Whatever happens next, I'm ready. I didn't choose this war, but I'll be the one to finish it. Update 4. I didn't think it would come to this. I truly didn't. Not even after the break-in. Not even after the stalking. But she snapped. Completely. This past Friday, I was heading back to my apartment after a meeting with my lawyer. It had been a long day. Court filings, security briefings, all the exhausting grown-up crap you never think you'll have to deal with from someone you once said, I love you to. I stepped out of the elevator into the hallway, and she was waiting there. Sarah, slouched against my door, eyes bloodshot, shaking, mascara running down her face. I froze. The hairs on my neck stood up. Why are you doing this to me? She said. Her voice was cracked, almost whispering. I kept my hand on my phone, ready to hit the emergency call. You lied to everyone, I said calmly. You broke into my home. You had your little boyfriend stalk me. That's when she lunged. I swear to God, she lunged, slapped my phone out of my hand, and tried to claw at my face. She was screaming nonsense. You ruined everything. You're a narcissist. You were supposed to be the failure. I wrestled her off me and kicked the door open to get inside. She shoved in behind me and grabbed a lamp. I barely ducked in time. It shattered against the wall. That's when building security arrived. Neighbors had already called 911 hearing her outside. She was still screaming when the cops cuffed her. She spit on one of them. Yes, spit. I gave them everything. The texts, the prior police reports, the video footage, the break-in details. They arrested her on the spot for assault, breaking and entering, and violating a protection order. Mark's name is now tied to this too. She's facing actual jail time. And still, as they dragged her out, she looked at me and said, You made me do this. No, Sarah, you did this all by yourself. Here's where it gets even more surreal. The story broke online. One of the neighbors had posted anonymously on a local forum about the incident. That somehow led to a blog post by a local gossip site, which got picked up because of the past domestic dispute allegations. Remember, the fake ones she made against me during the early divorce filings? Now everyone knows. Some of the same people who cut me off months ago have reached out to apologize. I've had ex-clients email me saying they should have believed me. Even Sarah's own sister messaged me and said, "She's always been like this. I just didn't know how bad it got." Her family has gone quiet. Mark? Vanished. Deleted his social media. Probably packing his bags. My lawyer is preparing to push for a restraining order extension, criminal charges, and a defamation suit that will hit both her and Mark like a freight train. But you want to know the sickest part? Even now, even after everything, there's a part of me that still feels like I'm in a dream. Because how do you process the fact that someone you lived with, someone you trusted, someone you loved, became this? She tried to ruin my reputation. She tried to destroy my career. She invaded my home. And now, she literally tried to hurt me. But she lost. She lost control. She lost the narrative. And now, she's finally facing the consequences. I'm okay. Shaken, but okay. Therapy is helping. So are friends who stuck around, the new ones I made along the way, and, weirdly, even this community. I'll update again after the court proceedings. But for now, I'm just breathing, alive, free, and still standing. Update 5. I don't even know how to begin this without shaking. She got out. I don't know who she bribed, begged, or manipulated, but she was released on bail. She shouldn't have been. The restraining order violation, the assault, the break-in, the destruction of property. It should have been airtight. But somehow, her lawyer argued that she was mentally unwell and needed treatment, not incarceration. The court agreed, temporary psychiatric evaluation in a facility rather than jail. She got out within 10 days. 10. And guess what? She wasted no time. At first, I thought I was imagining it. My emails being slow to load, random logouts from my cloud drive. Then I noticed someone requested access recovery to my business accounts using old security questions. Questions she would have known the answers to. Then came the social sabotage. Clients started ghosting me. A few politely pulled out of deals. One finally told me the truth. I got an anonymous tip with screenshots of you supposedly using client funds to gamble. It looked bad, but they were fake. She faked screenshots. I know her style, the fonts, the formatting. She always had a designer's eye, and apparently a forger's hand too. I scrambled, contacted my clients directly, sent out public clarification, filed reports with the platforms she used to send the tips. But the damage, it's lingering. My income dropped by 40% in 2 weeks. Then came the psychological warfare. I came home one night to find a dead bird on my doorstep. Its wings were ripped off. A crude note taped to its chest. Flightless. Just like you. I reported it. Police came. Took photos. But there was no footage. No proof. I changed apartments. Thought I'd escaped. Then a few days later, I get a call from my current landlord saying a concerned citizen had sent them a link to a fake mugshot of me. It had been photoshopped, but looked disturbingly real. Same clothes I wore in an old photo. They asked me to clarify. Clarify. As if I wasn't already trying to keep my entire life glued together. She's unraveling everything. And then, the final twist. One of the emails she sent wasn't to a client or a landlord. It was to a journalist. A small-time true crime blogger, but one hungry for juicy drama. He emailed me. Care to comment on the allegations your ex-wife is making? Allegations. Plural. She had turned our entire history into a twisted narrative where I was the abuser. She told them I was emotionally manipulative, stole money from her, faked the assault, and weaponized mental health to get her institutionalized. She's building a defense in public before the court case even begins. And the worst part? Some people believe her. Because she cries on cue. Because she spins it so well. Because the internet loves a good villain, and she's trying to make me that villain. I have recordings, logs, legal documents. But fighting perception is like fighting fog. I'm tired. So goddamn tired. I never imagined I'd be in a war where the truth isn't enough. She doesn't want money anymore. She doesn't want reconciliation. She wants revenge. She wants me ruined. And the scariest part? She's very good at it. I don't know what she'll do next. But I know one thing. She won't stop until something breaks. It just better not be me. Update 6. This is war now. Not the kind with explosions and bullets. The kind that's colder. More insidious. A war of silence, whispers, and carefully planted poison. But I've had enough. Sarah thought she could smear me with half-truths and manipulations. She thought if she screamed first, no one would listen when I finally spoke. But she underestimated something very simple. I'm patient, and I keep records. Over the past 3 weeks, I've been doing the one thing she never expected me to do: talk. Not publicly, not dramatically, just deliberately, quietly. I've been reaching out to every person she targeted with lies and manipulated evidence, and I've been showing them what she didn't count on: the full story. Let me break it down. 1. The gambling screenshots. She sent multiple fake images to my clients implying I was misusing company funds for online gambling. One client who pulled out sent them to me after I told him the truth. Turns out she photoshopped the gambling interface over a screenshot of my Slack workspace. I used image metadata tools and reverse search to prove it. One screenshot still had a broken timestamp. She was sloppy. I forwarded all of this to the client. He apologized. He rehired me. 2. The fake mugshot. She sent a doctored mugshot of me to my landlord and even submitted it to a few gossip forums. I managed to trace the source, an old Halloween photo of me in costume as a prison inmate. Yes, seriously. The original still existed on my private Facebook. She screen grabbed it, blurred it, darkened it, and photoshopped a fake county badge. I provided the original to both the landlord and the forums. One forum deleted the post and banned the IP. 3. The abuse narrative. This was the hardest. She wrote up a detailed, emotionally manipulative post to the crime blogger claiming years of emotional abuse. Said I gaslit her into silence and stole her medication to make her unstable. The blogger actually listened when I calmly provided court documents, protection order evidence, her own police record, and audio clips, including one where she literally threatened to fake a breakdown if I didn't give her access to my email. He retracted his article draft and sent me this. I get requests like this all the time. Usually the guy's the problem. But you documented everything. She messed with the wrong one. 4. The email recovery attempts. I obtained logs from Google and my hosting service showing the exact IP addresses of the recovery attempts. They match Sarah's location. My lawyer has now submitted this as evidence for tampering and attempted identity theft. 5. The break-in and restraining order. I went back to the detective from the assault incident and gave him everything again, this time tied to the new activity. Turns out they never closed the case. They've now reopened the file and added additional charges. You want to know what's wild? The more truth I showed, the faster the lies collapsed. I started getting texts from people I hadn't heard from in months. I'm sorry. I believed her. I thought you were hiding something. Turns out she was. Even her own mother called me. Said she always worried about Sarah's manipulation, but never thought she'd go this far. She told me Sarah had done something similar in college to a roommate, falsely accusing her of harassment because the roommate asked her to pay her half of the rent. Patterns. Sarah always leaves patterns. Right now, my legal team is assembling a full report with timestamps, messages, edited photos, and voice recordings. It's slow, meticulous, but undeniable. And Sarah? She's unraveling. Again, I've received 2 anonymous threats this week, both from burner emails that use the same sentence structure as her old messages. She's desperate. She knows I'm closing in. But here's the thing. I'm no longer scared. I'm pissed. I'm focused. And I'm going to clear my name so thoroughly that she'll never be able to throw another stone without it coming back and crushing her. The narrative is shifting. Slowly. But it's shifting. Truth takes time, but it always leaves footprints. And I've been following them back to her door. Update 7. I thought I was ready for anything. I thought after everything, the fake mugshots, the forged screenshots, the death threats in disguise, that nothing could shake me anymore. I was wrong. It started with silence, which should have been a relief, right? For nearly a week, I heard nothing from Sarah. No emails. No fake accounts messaging my business partners. No cryptic threats. Just nothing. I should have known better. Silence, when it comes from people like her, isn't peace. It's pressure. It's the eye of the storm. Last night, it broke. I was leaving my office late. I've been staying behind more often now, partly to rebuild my business, partly because home still doesn't feel safe. As I stepped out into the dark parking lot, I noticed a car I didn't recognize. Black, windows tinted, parked under the farthest lamp, engine off. I froze. Waited. Nothing. So I moved toward my own car. That's when I heard the slam of a door. And then her voice. "You think this is over?" It was Sarah. Hair a mess. Eyes wild. She wasn't screaming. Not at first. But she was loud enough that I knew security cameras would catch it. She held up her phone like she was filming me. "You're ruining my life," she shouted. "You made me look crazy." I told her to back off. I even pulled out my phone and hit record. My voice shook, but I said it clearly. "I have a restraining order. You are violating it right now." She didn't care. She stormed toward me. I backed up. I had pepper spray in my pocket. I've kept it there ever since the first break-in. I pulled it out and warned her again. Then she lunged. No weapon, just hands, fingernails, rage. She screamed something incoherent, but it was enough. I sprayed. She collapsed to her knees, shrieking. I called the cops while keeping my distance. They arrived in less than 5 minutes. She was still screaming when they cuffed her. One of the officers recognized her from the prior report. Another reviewed the footage from the security camera just above the parking lot. It caught everything. Her waiting, her approach, her attack. She was arrested on the spot. Charges this time? Aggravated harassment. Violation of a protection order. Attempted assault. Trespassing on private commercial property. And tampering with evidence, because they found fake documents in her car again. She's not getting bail this time. Her previous violations and recent instability were enough for the judge to deny it. She's being held until trial. And I feel like I can breathe again. For the first time in months. There are still scars. Emotional ones. Business damage. Friendships that broke under pressure. Trust issues I didn't ask for. Sleep that still refuses to come easy. But tonight, I slept for 5 hours straight. I haven't done that in ages. Because now, finally, she's somewhere she can't touch me. She played the victim so convincingly for so long. But now everyone saw the real her. Raw, unhinged, dangerous. And there's no way to twist that on video. Justice isn't fully served yet. The court case is still coming. But this is the beginning of the end. And this time, it's her unraveling. Not me. Update 8. I just got off the phone with the lead investigator. And I'm still shaking. I don't even know how to write this in a way that fully captures how surreal it feels. After everything, the lies, the attacks, the manipulation, I thought I knew who I was dealing with. But Sarah wasn't just a toxic ex. She was something else entirely. She was a con artist, a professional manipulator, and I was only her latest target. After her arrest last week, the police got a warrant to search her phone and her cloud backups. What they found wasn't just evidence of what she did to me. It was an entire blueprint of her history of deception, and she left digital footprints everywhere. Here's what they told me. 1. I wasn't her first project. They uncovered multiple fake email accounts linked to Sarah that had been used in at least 3 other harassment campaigns against former roommates, co-workers, and an ex from college. One of them had actually moved across the country after she started spreading fake rumors about him being a predator. Same patterns, same tactics. Start a relationship or friendship. Create dependency. Then when they pulled away, she'd destroy them. 2. She impersonated me. A lot. Authorities found messages sent from spoof versions of my email to vendors, clients, even friends, some as recent as last month. She used a masking service to make it look like I was harassing people or trying to commit fraud. This is why I lost 2 freelance contracts suddenly in March. One company sent the emails to police after being contacted. They matched IPs with Sarah's home network. She was trying to burn my life down from behind a mask. 3. The evidence she gave others? Mostly forged. Doctored screenshots, AI-generated audio snippets, falsified invoices. She even used an online voice generator to simulate me saying things I never said, combining old voice notes from our relationship to train the sample. They found the subscription receipts to the generator site in her Gmail. 4. She stalked my family. This one hit me the hardest. I didn't even know it until the investigator said it. But Sarah had been following my younger sister on Instagram from a Finsta account. She messaged her once, anonymously, pretending to be a concerned friend, warning her to stay away from me. She never told me. She was scared. Now I know why she started acting distant. 5. She tried to frame me for tax fraud. She filed a fake IRS complaint using my name and business ID, claiming I was hiding income. This is still under investigation, but the IP address and metadata from the filing form matched the burner laptop she had on her when she was arrested. If I hadn't kept my books clean, I could have been audited or worse. 6. One of her other victims came forward. After the arrest hit local news, another guy, let's call him Jason, messaged me. He sent me a full document of the nightmare she put him through back in 2019. He tried to go to the police, but Sarah gaslit him into backing down by threatening to accuse him of stalking. We met in person. It was the most bizarre, sad, validating thing I've ever experienced. He said, "You're the first person who didn't just disappear." And now? The district attorney is building a multi-charge criminal case against her that includes digital impersonation, identity theft, filing false reports, harassment across state lines, attempted fraud, witness intimidation, and conspiracy to defame multiple individuals. They're combining all her prior victims' accounts to show a pattern of long-term abuse. She's facing serious jail time, not just months, but years. And finally, they unsealed her psychiatric evaluations from a previous case in another state. Sealed until now. Apparently, she was involuntarily committed for 2 weeks in 2020 after a violent breakdown. She'd left that part out of her trauma narrative she used to keep me under her thumb. She was dangerous, and I didn't see it until I nearly lost everything. But now the world sees it too. And for the first time since this began, I feel like the nightmare is really ending. Not because she's gone, but because her mask is gone. Her fake stories, her lies, her little army of anonymous profiles. It's all out in the open. I'm still angry, still tired, but I'm also grateful, because the truth won. Final update. I walked into that courtroom with my heart in my throat. After everything, the stalking, the false accusations, the ruined reputation, the sleepless nights, the attacks, today was the day it all came to a head. Sarah sat just feet away from me, flanked by her lawyer and 2 deputies. She looked hollow, thin, hair tied tightly back, dark circles under her eyes. But her expression? Still smug, like she thought she could win this, like she had some final card to play. But not today. The prosecution spent nearly 4 hours laying out everything. The faked emails and screenshots, the voice cloning evidence, the attempted IRS fraud, her prior sealed psych hold, the anonymous accounts tied back to her IPs, testimony from 3 previous victims, and, finally, the security footage from when she attacked me in the parking lot. Her lawyer tried to claim diminished responsibility, mental illness, trauma, but it didn't stick. Because trauma doesn't give you the right to destroy other people. And the judge made that crystal clear. The moment that stuck with me the most, when the prosecutor read one of Sarah's emails aloud, the one where she posed as a client of mine, trying to get my contracts pulled. The words were venomous, calculated, designed to kill a career. Then they projected the real email metadata on a screen. Same date, same timestamp, matching her Wi-Fi IP address. That's when the courtroom got quiet. No more murmurs. Just this thick, awful silence. Her lawyer whispered something to her. She didn't react. Then it was my turn to speak. I gave my victim impact statement. I didn't write anything formal. I just talked. About the job opportunities one lost. The friendships she tried to poison. The nights I slept with a knife beside my bed. The months I doubted my own memory. I ended it by saying, she didn't just stalk me. She didn't just lie about me. She tried to rewrite who I was and make everyone believe it. But I'm still here, and I remember everything. I sat down. My hands were shaking, but I felt stronger than I had in months. Then came the verdict. Guilty, on 6 felony counts, plus 3 misdemeanors. The judge didn't hold back. He said Sarah demonstrated a prolonged, obsessive campaign of psychological warfare against me and others, and that she weaponized modern technology to play God in people's lives. Her sentence? 7 years. She'll be eligible for parole after 4, but only if she undergoes psychiatric treatment and shows proof of progress. She didn't cry. Not even then. She just turned to look at me. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I didn't feel fear or rage. I felt nothing. And that's how I knew it was over. It's still going to take time to rebuild. Some people still side-eyed me during the early accusations. Not everyone came back. Some clients moved on. That hurts. But now I have something I didn't have before. Closure. Real, legal, undeniable closure. I've started therapy. I'm slowly reconnecting with old friends. My sister talks to me more again. I've even signed a new business deal, the kind that lets me breathe easier. The damage she caused was real. But she didn't win. Not even close. Final update. It's been a year since the sentencing. A full year since I walked out of that courtroom, knowing she was behind bars, and that I could finally breathe again. And yet, it's taken almost the entire year just to remember what peace actually feels like. For a while, I kept waiting for something to go wrong again. I'd flinch when I got emails from unknown addresses. I'd hesitate before answering unknown numbers. I didn't trust calm days. Trauma trains you to expect explosions. But slowly, the edges started softening. The nightmares stopped. The constant tension in my shoulders eased. I began waking up and not immediately checking the locks. Therapy helped a lot. I found a trauma-informed therapist who didn't just let me vent, but helped me understand how deep the damage ran. She helped me unpack the guilt, the shame, the part of me that kept asking, why didn't I see it sooner? She said something during one session that stuck with me. Survival mode doesn't allow for reflection. You did the best you could with what you had. That's when I finally forgave myself. I've started writing again. I used to love storytelling. That was the first thing Sarah took from me, the confidence to use my voice. I felt like no one would believe anything I said. Now I write weekly essays online. Not about her, but about healing, about boundaries, about recovering from invisible wounds. And the wildest part? People actually respond. They thank me. They share their own stories. It's become my quiet little rebellion, turning pain into connection. My sister and I are closer than ever. We had a long heart-to-heart. She admitted how scared she was back then, how helpless she felt. We've made space for each other's hurt. She even said she was proud of me. I almost cried. Work is thriving again. It took time, but referrals started picking up. One old client I thought I'd lost reached out to apologize. They had believed the fake messages and only found out the truth when the news broke. They hired me back. Then they brought in others. Now, I'm doing better financially than I ever was before. I still have scars, but I'm finally building something on my terms again. I'm no longer afraid to be alone. After Sarah, I was terrified that everyone had hidden motives. I kept thinking, what if I let another mask slip through? But I've learned to trust slowly, to set boundaries early, and to listen to my gut. And it turns out, that voice, the one I doubted for so long, it's strong and clear, and it hasn't steered me wrong since. I won't pretend everything's perfect. There are days where the shadows feel closer than they are. There are moments where I freeze if I hear footsteps behind me at night. Some people still don't know the full story, and I don't owe them the emotional labor to explain. But I no longer carry shame. She tried to bury me under lies, but I walked through the fire, and I came out not just alive, but whole. I won't forget what she did, but I refuse to let it define me. Because healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about writing the next chapter yourself. And for the first time in a long time, I'm holding the pen.